Hiya folks, I'm going to wait, I'm a minute early, I'll wait till a couple of you come on. But I'm just getting comfy. If you hear some munching in the background, that's the dogs. I'm interfering with their dinner time. They're just mooching around. But yeah, this is actually my first live sort of, well, independent really. When I say independent, I mean, yeah, it is. My first live independent where I can kind of say what I want and not feel like I have to be careful with what I'm saying. Hello, we've got a few people. Hi Adam, Sav, hello. Evening Stu, I knew you'd turn up. Hope you're all okay. Get comfy because I've got a bit to go over. What have I been up to? Been up to also. I've got comfy and I even poured myself a cheeky glass of wine. Hey Ewan. So, where shall I start? Shall I wait for a few more for you to join me? First of all, thanks for joining me. And I hope you're all okay and had a nice day. Hi, Marlene, you alright? So, basically, I've got a few things that I'm going to go over. Monty, hello. So I'm going to go over, I've got a few things. I've actually written some notes, yeah, just so I don't miss anything out, because I always want to tell you guys what I've been up to and what's going on sort of in my life, just to keep you guys up to date and everything. And then, yeah, just to keep you updated. Right, so what have I been? I've been up to all sorts. So as you've seen, I booked that Holland trip that I always wanted to do, and I went for a couple of days actually. Didn't quite go to plan on one of the trips that I organised, but I still caught a once in a lifetime fish. So the first day, got there, got the ferry over, as you saw on my socials. I kept you guys updated. I had a fun time on the ferry, really enjoyed the journey over, and then got there, met up with a gentleman called Tom, who actually guides for a living. I'm so jealous because he does that nearly every day and he does it for a job, and what a place to be a fishing guide. It's just a beautiful place. I can imagine it'd be challenging sometimes because I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not very good with water. I don't really like being in water. Yeah, I know, strange, why do I go fishing? But yeah, I struggle with boats and water. So I know what you're thinking, absolute lunatic. Why she booked a trip in a small boat in a load of big water? I know, deep, fast flowing water as well, in fact. But I did it because I like to challenge myself. So we got on the boat, and I was a little bit wobbly on my feet. It was a little bit challenging at first, but I got the hang of it. And we went when you weren't allowed to lure fish. They have a closed season over there as well, so we were fishing with big jig heads. Well, we were fishing like little jig heads first with some dendrobinas on, trying to find some perch. And Tom did say, if we're going to catch a perch that day, we would catch it in the first sort of 20 minutes of being there, 15, 20 minutes. So we got to the first location and there was no signs of perch, which I was a little bit, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit disappointed, because obviously I was proper excited about going and catching my monster perch. I will do it one day, but that trip wasn't it. And but we did I did a sort of style of fishing called live scope fishing, where you use, the only way I can describe it is it's a cross between fishing and PlayStation. I know what you're thinking, what's she on about? But so you've got your rod, you've got your jig edge, you've got your lob worm on it, and then you literally drop it over. Sorry, that's my dog you can hear pattering about. You drop it over the edge of the boat, and you've got a screen, which I used to think those screens on the boats were for like well, for seeing like what's on the bottom and seeing where the fish are and giving an idea. I'll be honest. I thought as well that it was like a little bit. It was kind of cheating. Does that make sense? That using a screen and seeing how deep it is and where the fish are, so it gives you an idea where to chuck. You're cheating, aren't you? But sorry, that's me. My big dog's just sat on my little dog. Sorry. Just be nice, Rambo. So I'm gonna have to show you. 1 minute. Come here. So this is Rambo. So he's just been sat on by the staffy. I'll just have him up here for a minute. So but yeah, he's you have the screens and it all made sense. The sort of the style of fishing. So we had the screens and it showed you obviously the depths, like fish as well. So each square on the screen was like 1 meter, and believe me, there were fish that were coming onto the screen that were 1 meter long. And I'm not gonna lie, I made sure my lobworm was well away from them. I did not want to hook that. So but yeah, that live scope is, if you ever get a chance to go do it. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, but it's like I can't explain. I just can't explain it. It's mega. It's such a different way of fishing, and you think it'd be easy by seeing that fish, seeing the bottom, making sure that lobworm, your jig head is all just, and you see a fish and you just dangle it in front. It is not that easy. I can assure you, definitely not that easy. But yeah, that was the first day. Caught some big zander. The biggest was 60 centimetre. I didn't actually get a photo of it because you'll see if you subscribe to the members only, you'll see on there that you'll see the excitement when you catch a fish there. You would like the excitement. I've caught it. I've high-fived Tom. We've measured it. High-fived him again. I'm jumping about trying not to fall in, and then because they're such beautiful fish, I've like lobbed it back in, and then realised as I've lobbed it back in. When I say lob it back in, I actually mean you do need to throw them in so they go into the water, so they hit the water and they can swim off. Because if you don't put them in right, they go belly up, as Tom was saying. But yeah, I didn't get that on camera, but it's all in there, memories. So that was mega. But if you haven't seen that yet, you've got to watch that first part of the Holland trip. And then the second day, was the Vaughn Canal, and I've fished it before actually as a kid. Me and my dad have fished it before. Well, my dad hasn't, but I went to the famous stretch. You might have seen that another fishing company has actually gone there with a couple of anglers and done a video there before. And do you know what the best bit about it was? The people that I met there. The fishing was good. It was blooming brilliant. But the morning, if you don't know me very well, I'm not a very good morning person. Don't try and talk to me before I've had a coffee or a cup of tea, because I'm a bit grumpy. But the chap in the tackle shop said that if you want to get a peg there to fish, you need to be there before it gets light. And I was like, nah, it'll be all right. Anyway, thought about it and I thought, right, I booked this trip. I'm only 5 minutes from the canal. Do I really need to? Should I just have a lie in? And then I ummed and ahed about it. I thought, no, I'm gonna stop being a lazy cow and actually get out of bed. So I did. And I've never ever been to somewhere where I've stood. Well, actually, there's 2 places that this has happened where I've stood and watched fish. I got there and I could hear like all I can say, it sounded like people throwing like items into the water, like splashes, but it wasn't. I couldn't see. Well, obviously it was pitch black when I got there. I couldn't see anything. So then when it started to get light, you could see. I'm not kidding. Let me put the dog down. I'm not kidding you. There were like there were roach, eyed, whatever. Like, they weren't bream. They were definitely not bream. Like, there must have been 4 or 5 pound, these fish. Just coming up and actually like dolphins. And I stood there for like, I actually had my mouth open. The cameraman had to like come and like nudge me to like, come on, get on with it. But the amount of fish there, I've never ever. I know it's a big bit of water, but it was just ridiculous. And that caught my biggest bream, 7 pound. That was just a really nice trip. That was a beautiful day. I met a lovely man from Germany. He comes there for a week every year with his dog. He gave me an absolute battering as well off the next peg. But yeah, it was really nice. Just a nice trip, and I'm really pleased that I managed to get it on film for everyone and for you guys to be able to see it and watch it. So cheers. Oh, so, and then what else have I been up to? Came back. Great heck. I'm not ignoring it. I'm trying to like make sure I read your comments, but I'll get back to them. So then there's Great Heck. Went to Great Heck. I've actually never been. I used to work at a tackle shop, and all the regulars used to come in for the bait, and they're like, "Oh, we're off to Great Heck." And I'm like, yeah. And they'd tell me stories about these great big wild bream that they'd catch, and you'd need like 5 for like 20 pound, and I'd be like, that's insane, and it's literally down the road from where I live, and I've never ever got a chance to go. And I thought, right, as you know, decided I've got a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm going to do it. So that was one of the things that I did recently, and I scheduled it to do it on the hottest day of the year. You remember that? Was it a couple of weeks ago where it was like 30 degrees or something, like boiling hot? It was red hot and not ideal bream weather, but I did catch one. But I did. It wasn't the fishing that stopped. I had to pack up because I was actually melting. I don't do very well in heat, so I'd actually packed up. I think I lasted 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Caught a bream, caught a couple of perch and a roach, and then I was actually melting, about to pass out. So I decided, for my welfare, that we would leave it. So that was that. But then I actually guested. They do a spring series on that stretch, on the Murfield stretch, and they actually have like, I think there's like 70, 80 anglers on the Spring League Mega Series, and there's a few spots available because a lot of the anglers are in Ireland on the festivals there. So there's a few spots available to sort of like, I think it's like guest onto the Spring League, so you can fish and just, you obviously don't take points and stuff off people. So I thought, hey, why not? Spare Saturday, fancy it, let's go. Kind of, if you know me very well, I do get lost very easy. So that trip as well, the couple of trips I did do, it was probably to like find my bearings and know where to go when I do draw those sections. But anyway, so I went and fished it, and as you know, everyone tells you need to draw an end peg, this, that, and the other. I was like, yeah. And I was actually the first person to draw that day. And I actually drew an end peg. Which, before you lot start going on, no, I don't always draw an end peg. I never draw an end peg, actually. And the only time I did draw an end peg in the Winter League that I fished, someone turned up last minute and sat past me. So, but yeah, that's heck. And it's blooming great fishing. You need, I don't know whether you can fish it on a day ticket, but the yearbook's like 30 quid, so it's worth doing because like there's so many, like there's like, you've got a couple of reservoirs and stuff on it as well, and loads of bits like river and canal and stuff, so it's definitely worth doing. 100% worth. Like I've been in like 4 or 5 times, so I've got my money's worth for me yearly book. But yeah, mega. And the Murfield actually do run a couple of festivals as well. There's one up at Linleywood as well, which is meant to be as close as fishing in Ireland as you can get, but in North Yorkshire, which is absolute mega. But yeah, so that's great heck. But like really, really enjoy that sort of fishing. And I've met a couple of anglers down there as well. Really nice people. Proper nice. We're all there, and just doesn't really matter where you sit when you go pleasure fishing because you just catch. You catch, and it's just nice. Really nice place. Really quiet as well, and safe as well. It's really safe. Your vehicles are safe. Brilliant. But then what else have I been up to? The Commercial National. So yeah, I'd forgot what an F1 looked like, and yeah, I soon had to get back into the swing of it. So I'd been for a practice on the weekend before, and I actually had to buy a ticket for a qualifier to practice because everywhere was full. So I went on that. I drew second from the end peg. I drew peg 14. 15, and you want to be on 14 on bonsai. Long story short, watched the lad on the next peg who I was like cheering on all day. I'm like, I hope you qualify, because he fished a blinder. He fished 16 meters literally all day. Like, I know it's quite controversial, this overshotted lark, but hey, it works. At the end of the day, we're here all to catch fish, aren't we? So yeah, he just fished an overshotted rig at 16 metres all day and just shipped a fish back every time. Fair play to him. And I don't think he qualified. I think he might have been second. You need to be like first in your section to qualify, which was a shame really, because he deserved to. I know that like we're all like match anglers and we all like want to like do well, but sometimes I don't mind. Like, I like to see other people doing well. And if they're catching and they've fished a blinder of a match, I'm not scared to like actually go and tell them, well done, you bloody deserve to win or qualify, because you know you've got to give people some credit sometimes, haven't you? But yeah, he fished. I can't remember the chap's name, but I think his dad was with him and all. Really nice two people. Really nice chaps. But yeah, I don't think he qualified that day. I think he was second, which was a shame really. But the national. Moving on to the national. So I think there's like 180 anglers on the full venue. It's very tightly pegged. The venue does shut down because usually, like on the opens, you can win it with like hundreds of pounds, but yeah, not the national. The national, it's not like that on the national. It's hard work for most people. And I drew peg 20, I think it was 23 on Willers, which is next door to the best peg, like the best peg on the complex is like 21. Is it 21? The one on the point on the far end of Willers. And that is like the best. It's like really deep in your edges, really deep in front of you, and like you've got like a bit of a chuck. Like in winter, that's a brilliant peg. But yeah, I drew next to there, and I don't know whether that won the section, but I didn't do that great from mine. I think I was like 7th or 6th in this section, which was all right, but yeah, the team didn't do great. But you know, taking part, we all enjoyed ourselves, and there were people who'd travelled and it was their first ever national as well, so that was nice to be part of that, part of a team. So, but yeah, it was I don't know, Barnsley won that, yeah, so surprise. But yeah, it's just I enjoy it, but it was like reminding myself what an F1 looked like, because I've been doing a lot of natural fishing. But that was the commercial national. So then after that, but yeah, that I fished that with the midi team, midi squad, which was nice, because just because I've left the company as a sponsored angler doesn't mean that you don't fall out with them. You gotta, I still get on with all the anglers. So I actually have been invited to a open day that's being run open by Midi at the weekend, and I'm doing kind of a rig clinic as such, sort of like a bit of a chat, just because they've got a couple of the Midi junior anglers down there on Saturday. So I've offered just to pop down and just sort of show them a couple of bits and pieces, because they've got their junior national at Lindo. So I said I'd just go up and show them a few bits and pieces, because obviously I fished there for a few years, and then just to help them out really. And it'd be nice to see some new faces, and obviously I hope to see some old new faces as well, and some regular faces, so it'd be nice. If you're about, make sure you go up there. But that is that's Saturday. I think it starts in the morning about 9 o'clock ish, but I'm not sure. But anyway, so that's my fishing. Not really done that much, really. Done a bit more pleasure fishing, but that's that. Oh, I bought a new pole. How could I forget that? Bought a new pole. Yeah. Cheers. Bought a new pole. Yeah. Well, so what can I say? Bloody expensive, aren't they? Tell you that. So obviously I reached out to all you lovely lot to find out what everyone's using and what everyone else is actually spending the money on, because you guys have spent your money on it. I don't want to hear from anglers who've got tackle deals, because they're going to tell me whatever they're sponsored by is the best thing since sliced bread. So I don't really want to hear that. It's nice to get a bit of feedback, but like, I want to hear from you guys who actually spend your money on tackle and actually like use it, and you know. So I had a really good response from that post. So it was nice, and there's a couple that kept coming round, and I ended up going with my first ever Daiwa pole, my G90 Pro, and I'm pretty chuffed with it, to be fair. I know it isn't the top of the range, but like I say, there's no point. Whenever I get asked for this all the time, it's like, what's the best pole? What's the best on the market? It's like, what? It's like, no, what sort of fishing do you do? What's your budget? And what extras do you need? Because like, obviously I fish quite a lot of deep natural venues, so I need like top threes and fours, and like the occasional top five. So you've got to think of like, how much is your initial pole package, and then how much are your extras, and how easy is it to get your extras, and plus also how easy is it to get extras or repairs or new sections if out busts. So I basically thought, because I know I had lots of people going, come on, just tell us what you bought. It genuinely took me this long to actually decide, because I was umming and ahhing, because there's a lot of money in it at the end of the day. So yeah, I was umming and ahhing, and I decided on the G90. I got a mega deal as well from Independent Tackle and Bait in Doncaster. If you get a chance, they don't do online, but if you get a chance to pop in, they are definitely worth visiting for sure. But yeah, mega pole. It can handle them. Well, you've seen it can handle them great big bream and stuff. I went the other week and had like 5, 6 on an evening, like top 5 deep, number 8 elastic, and they're like, pull your pole out around it. Fantastic. Great bit kit, proper chuffed. I have actually done a review on it, so I'll be posting that as well for you guys, like an honest review as well, and I'll go into like a bit more detail, but for now, like at the minute, proper chuff of it. Cheers. Right. That's fishing tackle and everything addressed and stuff and sorted. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. If you're aware, I have purchased a fishing event company at the beginning of the year and also moved around with moved away from other companies, moved to other companies quite a lot, as I'm very open and honest with you guys. You all see it all online. But like, what you see is like me moving from another company. The difference is some of the companies I was sponsored with and some of the companies I actually worked for who paid me a salary. So say for like my sponsorships, I was sponsored by sponsored by MAP, then sponsored by MIDI, and then I got a job where I could, and also, sorry, I was sponsored by MAP, sponsored by MIDI, and I was, it kind of, because of the job that I was in at that time, I had to use a lot of different tackle and stuff, or I'd try and talk about different tackle. It was a conflict of interest, so it was easier to not have a sponsorship, because your sponsorship is, people don't get paid as a sponsorship. You get tackle, fishing tackle, and at the end of the day, fishing tackle doesn't pay bills. So like, as much as it's really nice and it helps to compete, but sometimes it's more like the freedom of, like, I can't explain how nice it is to go to a fishing tackle shop and it sounds really silly, but like go and get a thing of elastic off the side that you want to use and not have to like feel like you need to like hide it, or go get packet hooks that you kind of want to use and you don't feel like you can like walk around openly with a basket, because like you have people like gawping, oh, you should be, why are you buying that, or why you should be using this, do you know what I mean? Or like being like concerned about doing like live matches and looking in my side tray and making sure like I haven't got any contraband in my side tray, because I can assure you there's a lot of that going on. So these people who say, oh, this, no, don't let them tell you fibs. Just saying. But yeah, it's just, I enjoy being able to use what I want. And be honest, like if I don't like something, I'm like, that's absolutely pants. Why would I use it? And I'd tell you guys as well. Like it's like a breath of fresh air, being able to just do what I want. So yeah, that is the reason why I've left the tackle companies. But then you've also seen that I left a bait company, but I got a job with a bait company. So I worked for a tackle company. I worked for a tackle shop, ran a little local tackle shop. Then I got a job at a bait company, so I had to leave my bait sponsor because the bait company's paying me to do a job. So obviously I'm not going to stay with a sponsor that is going to be a conflict of interest that's going to pay my bills. So I've then obviously worked at the bait company for a while, and then another job offer has come about where it seemed too good to be true. But then when I gone to that role, things just didn't seem quite right, and things didn't align and didn't seem right. So you find I found when I've come back in the industry, I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been in it for, God, over 20 years. Probably, yeah, I'm like 30 how old am I? 33? So I've been in it a long time. Yeah, I've not fished the full 30 years, but I've been in the industry and in it for a long, long time. So I actually had this discussion with someone last week, actually. When you come into an industry and you're like kind of new, you're not new. Well, yeah, you are. You're kind of new to it. You kind of put up with a little bit more than you should. And like you let people sort of get away with doing certain things, and like your boundaries aren't quite there. You kind of just shrug stuff off and think, oh, it's all right, it don't matter. But actually, now I've got a little bit older, and I just think, actually, no, it does matter. That's not right. You shouldn't be talking to people like that. You shouldn't talk to me like that. And what you're requesting's absolutely unreasonable. And I just think that's why, like, because I've stood up for myself, I found that sometimes people don't like that. They don't like being told no, but they like to like push you and push you and push your limits and try and get as much out of you as possible. When actually, no, it's not right. And when things don't feel right, I've learnt now, just say, hang on a minute, it's not right. I don't like it, thank you. That I don't want anything to do with it. So that's why a lot of things have happened since I've left the companies, not had any bait sponsors or brand sponsors. So, but since I've left, sort of like over the last, well, it'll be probably since the end of last year, I've had an like I can't explain. I've had an outrageous, ridiculous amount of abuse, like whether it's just inappropriate comments, inappropriate messages, sexist comments, sexual inappropriate comments and messages, racial comments. It's like, I don't know why these people think it's acceptable. You'll have seen on my social media page that I've actually like started to stand up to, like, it's not acceptable. Like, why would you think it's okay to speak to people like you do? You wouldn't go up to someone in Tesco's and say these things or do these things to people. So why would you think it's okay to do it when to someone online? Like, we're all human, aren't we, at the end of the day? It's like, just because I sit here with a smile on my face doesn't mean that it doesn't affect me and that it doesn't hurt. It's just not nice. Basically, just be nice to people. I'm not there doing videos to get attention. I'm there to like highlight the fact that these things happen. It's not all like sunshine and roses and like nice little videos. There's so much nastiness and stuff that goes on. Pack it in. Just what we're all here just to enjoy fishing. Just pack it in. That's all I'm saying. Just pack it in. But it's just, it's got to a point. Like, I feel like I need to tell you that it's got to a point where I've even had to get the police involved, and I don't really normally like let you guys know about my personal life because I kind of feel like, you know, certain things need to be kept like separate, but I feel like you really need to understand that it's not acceptable and it isn't accepted. Like, there's people who've just been horrific. And I've had to report them to the police. They've had police contact them, and it's serious. It's not normal or a joke. It's just not right. And I've had a recent one where even a fishery owner, I don't think he'll mind me saying, Andy, who owns Makins, has had to sort of step in because there's a certain individual who's just out. Well, I'm trying to think of a nice word to use. Yeah, there's a certain individual that he's had to have words with to. He's basically said if you carry on with the abuse, that you'll be barred from my fishery and all the fisheries in the Midlands, which I have the absolute utmost respect for Andy because he didn't need to do that, and but it just shows that there's some good people out there, and just keep faith basically. Just don't let the bad people just outweigh the nice people, because there are a lot of nice people out there. But yeah, and I don't know whether it's obviously because people feel like they can talk to me like that, because you're probably aware that I have an OF account, and but I don't shout and scream about it, but it is what it is, and I don't push it on. My fishing page is my fishing page, and it's just another social media page. So for people to, I don't know, it's like it's strange. It's a strange sort of strange world that people just think it's okay. But yeah, it's, let me have a drink. I've witted on. If there's any questions, by the way, I forgot to say I've like really ranted on for like 35 minutes. But I really need to get it off my chest. But if you've got any questions about anything fishing related, please, or like anything, just put it in the comments and I'll pick them up. But yeah, so basically all the changes that you've seen over the last, since Chris, like there's been a lot, hasn't there? Let's be honest, there's been a lot of change for me personally over a year. So, and obviously because I go fishing and everyone sees it, which I'm okay with. But people feel like, because they feel like they have to like put a penny in and like sort of get involved, when actually no, just like I'm normal. I just not like it happens. Things happen. And if you got a job, would you want everyone to like comment saying, oh, like you just wouldn't, would you? Just come on, guys. But yeah, so basically the reason why I've done a lot of changing around and leaving brands and stuff is to try and, so I feel I can be put in a position where I am now, where I don't feel like, where I can be independent. I can use what I want, and be honest about everything I use, because trust me, I'm going to be very honest about everything, and just not been sort of dictated what sort of content I need to produce, because at the end of the day, I just want to go fishing. And if I find a nice pole, or if I find a nice, find a nice float or something that I like, right, enjoy, I'm going to tell you whether you like poles or not, or like floats. I'm going to tell you whether I like using it or not. You might not want to, you might not care, but I'm going to tell you. But I don't want to feel like I have to do X amount of posts about this and X amount of posts about that, and you know what I mean? At least now I'm independent, I can witter on about what I want, I can go do the sort of fishing I want to do, and I can take you a lot with me. But yeah, so that is basically the reason why I've done a lot of moving about over the last year, really. But yeah, have I missed anything? Let me just take my notes. But yeah, that's it really, guys. I'll flip through the questions, but I feel like I've talked at you for 38 minutes. But yeah, because I'm independent and I've got no ties with anyone, I am actually working on a few things, really exciting things, and it'd be a conflict of interest if I was with any brands or anything. So that might be a surprise. That might be a bit of a little clue. I don't really know, but I'm not telling you anymore. But yeah, that is the reason why. But Fred, I've well ranted. Yeah, apologies. I made your ears bleed. But anyway, let me go flip through the comments and any questions I want to make sure I've not missed. So, oh, I want to say hello to everyone as well. Where did I get to? Monty, hello. Luke, hiya. Mark. Stu, I know I didn't get the big perch. I'm gutted, but I'll be going back for it. Batman, right, so when I said it didn't feel right for perch, when we got to Holland, Tom said, I can't, like, the water, so we went in on a jetty, and you drive out. I've got a little clip, you can see it on the video, that you drive out and basically you drive out and you look like you're in the sea. There's that much water, so it was bright. The conditions just weren't right on the day. So when Tom kind of knew anyway when we were going out in the boat, but obviously when you've got people that have paid to go catch a perch, or like that's their target species, you want to try and, I know that I do this when I go coaching, that if someone says you want to catch a PB carp or whatever, I try and make sure they catch their PB carp. So like, obviously you try your hardest to get the target fish, but he was totally honest with us and said, look, you're not going to catch that fish. If you don't get a perch in the first 20 minutes, half an hour, we aren't going to get one. So at least we knew, and we tried and fished. We fished for like half an hour trying for that perch, and the conditions weren't right, and they weren't showing in the areas that we were going to. We went to like, I think, did we go to three or four areas in the boat where they were like, that's where, if you're going to catch perch, that's where we normally, if it's like perfect conditions for perch, that's where you'd catch them, or at least see them on the live scope screen. There wasn't. I think we might have seen one or two, and they weren't interested in the worm. So they we basically said, right, let's go live scope for zander, which we did, and it was bloody brilliant. So yeah, the conditions weren't right for perch. Would I fish in a belly boat? Funny you say that. I've always wanted to fish in a belly boat. Yeah, I know. I said I don't like water, but like, you know me, I like a challenge. And yes, I would fish in a belly boat. I don't know whether I'd want to try and fish in a belly boat somewhere where it's a bit warmer. I don't know whether I'd want, but then again, you'll have proper clothing on, won't you? You know, I'd fish in a belly boat. But it'd be quite hard though, I think. I don't know. I'd give it a go. Belly boat fishing. Definitely give it a go. Stu, why wouldn't I want to catch a metre-long fish? Why would I not want to catch a metre? Honestly, like, no. Because he was saying they were like catfish. That's a cat. Like, it was literally, some of them were even longer than the squares on the live scope screen, and I was like, I'm not catching that. Not on a little. It'd take me ages. No. I was there for perch or zander. I didn't really want. I want to go catch a catfish, but not on a little boat in all that water. I want like the proper gear to go catch one. But yeah, I want to catch a metre-long fish, but not on that trip, Stu. Oh, there's people from Belgium. Hello. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right, Mickey. I learnt so much on the Holland trip that using a screen and your live scope and everything, the vast amount, you could be there for weeks wandering around and looking for fish, but with that live scope, you can understand the water, the depths, whether there's fish in it, whether there's shoal fish there, because if you've got shoals of fish there, you've got your bait fish, so then you're going to have your predator fish, like your zander and your perch and your catfish. So yeah, I totally, it's like, I've got the utmost respect for people now who use those. Before I was probably a little narrow-minded, and yeah, thought, oh, it's kind of cheating, but and I totally get the reason why people use those screens now. And it's bloody brilliant. I loved it. I didn't think I would, but I did. It was great. Mega. Michael, how did I catch at Great Heck? I caught, well, there's a couple of times I've been. So I've caught at 11 metres. I went to Chris in the pole. I went 11.5 metres and caught, I chucked 6 balls of ground bait in. Or was it 8? It might have been 8 balls of ground bait in. And it was like over an hour until I got my first bite, but I had 7 or 8 big bream on the pole, and then the day when I was second at Heck in the match, I caught all of them on a feeder. and did I? No, I had one on a pole. One on a pole, lost one on a pole, and caught the rest of them on a feeder. But no, it's great. I'm proper enjoying heck. So, just making sure. Ewan, how's the G90 compared to the X55? I fished with the X55. Well, I wasn't with MIDI for very long, was I? So I fished with it a few times for silvers, but I didn't get a chance to take it out because it was over the colder months, so I didn't get a chance to go out for F1s on it or carp. So I can't really say, because I've only done bream fishing in deep canals with my G90, and I've only gone sort of for roach with my XK55, so I can't really. If I'd have done both, then, but like diameter wise, the poles both were very, very nice, but I fished with the XK55 at 16 meters for roach, and it's bloody nice bit of kit. And I've not fished with the G90 at 16 meters. I don't really like fishing 16 meters. I don't care what anyone says. 16 meters is horrendous. No one likes doing it. But yeah, they're both nice bit of kit. But I've spent my money on G90, Anna. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm just making sure I've not missed anyone. Nathan, I am definitely going barbel fishing on the whip when the season opens. Gary, thank you. Yeah, I know. That's a very polite way of putting it. There are still some muppets about. Sav, do I think that women in fishing and sport in general get treated like that, like I've described? Yeah, I do. I do actually. It's not as bad as it used to be, because when I first started fishing, I can remember being at. It's really bad, this. I can remember being at a junior match. Yeah, I'd have been like 13 or something, and me and my dad used to travel with a lad called Tom and Steve, who was his dad, and we used to go to qualifiers and stuff. I can remember being at a venue. I'm not going to name it. I remember being at a venue, and we're at a draw. We've gone there, and I'd gone and asked the man how the place is fishing. He says, and he looked me up and down and says, "You're fishing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he basically stood with his back to me, talking to my dad, Steve, and Tom, and then basically ignored me whilst I was literally stood behind him asking how's it fishing. He turned around to speak to me dad and Tom and Steve, saying, "Oh, it's fishing like this," and he did that for 5 minutes, and my dad, I think my dad had to move away quickly because I think he was going to actually punch him. Yeah, I'd be here all night, to be totally honest with you, if I went through all the stories. But yeah, to sum it up, Sav, I do think that there's a lot of sort of bad vibes towards females in male-dominated sports, but we've got to just we've got to have broad shoulders, haven't we? But it's still not acceptable. What's the biggest fish I've ever caught? The biggest one I've ever caught is a 20-pound common, and it was actually at Woodlands. I caught it on a Haribo. I'd run out of bait, and obviously I was like, "Dad, I want another 10 minutes," and obviously run out of bait. So the only thing I had was a packet of Haribo. So I put a Haribo on and caught a carp. It was massive. So it took me 45 minutes to get in. So that next, let's have another 10 minutes, actually ended up being another 45 minutes. But yeah, I'm actually planning on going proper carp fishing, like the bivvies, free rods a lot. So I know I said I wouldn't do it, but it's going to happen. I've got to do it. I've got to do it once, Anna. You've got to. Cheers. Got to do it once. Luke, am I going on the rivers again when they open? Heck yes. Yes, I am. I've actually, I've got my rod with my stick float and everything set up, ready to go. I put some new line on it. It's literally ready to go. So I can just like wander down to the river with my bag of maggots. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually going to go out on the hunt for some big barbel as well this year. Do you go belly boat fishing in Rutland? Oh, okay. I drove by that the other week. It's good to know. Be a bit cold though. I was thinking more somewhere a bit tropical and warm to go my belly boat fishing for the first time, but hey, I'll try it. Carl, have I joined the Leeds book? No, I haven't, but I thought I may potentially get one because I know there's some good stretches of the river on that. Brilliant for like your stick float fishing. I will see you there. So I'm just making sure I don't miss anything. Neil, have I fished in Thailand? Yes, I have fished in Thailand, and I've fished off the rocks, and I used to get up really early, so like 5 o'clock, and stand in the, because obviously if you go any later you've got like swimmers and stuff, so I used to go down to the beach and stand in the water like sort of waist deep with my little lure rod, catching just like little fish. So yeah, I have done that. I've not been and done the proper like go to your peg, catch a great big monster Siamese. So that is, I don't know whether I'll get a chance to do it this year, but it's definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. But I also want to do a bit of like sea fishing in Thailand as well, so we'll see. Belgium for carp fishing. I could do that, Ian. I could. But now, I've whittled on like far too much, but I just want to thank you guys for coming and joining me. And I hope you've enjoyed me talking about what I've been up to with my fishing. And I hope you've all poured yourself a cuppa or got yourself a drink and enjoyed me wittering on. I hope I've not talked at you too much. Cheers. But I'm going to leave you all in peace and I'm going to go well, I need to go walk my dogs. But for now, thank you, and I will look forward to catching up with you guys in a few weeks. We'll do another live. Catch up what we've all been doing and where we've been fishing, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining me. Oh, I'm trying to turn it off.